I've got a little project here. I'm working on making two small boxes for for communion elements. Pastor got a hold of me and wanted me to make boxes for the elements of communion when they take elements to homebound members. So he gave me a very specific diagram of all the dimensions, all the different compartments in the box, and I made a full-scale template here, and that way I could put my pieces right up to the template and make sure everything was correct. So I started with this template and then cut my pieces. Here's the other one laid out here out of mahogany, and did all my grooves and mortises for the different dividers in the box. And then I set up a jig for finger joints along the edge. So I'm just going to explain a little bit about these finger joints. Basically, I attached a sacrificial fence to a miter gauge here, and then notched out with a 3/4 inch dado stack, notched out a spot here and put a filler block of 3/4 inch plywood. And then I put a little spacer next to that block, and then slid this up to the dado stack and made sure the spacing was correct, that this filler block was right next to the dado stack tight, and then I screwed the auxiliary setup here to the miter gauge. And then I took my pieces. First I took a couple scrap pieces, and with the filler block there, I put the piece, sorry, not the best angle here, I put the piece up next to it, and then removed that piece, obviously, and then ran that through the dado stack. And then from there, it's actually very easy. You just move it over to the filler block and run it through the dado stack, and then put the next one over the filler block, run it through the dado stack, and work your way down the piece until you have it all complete. And so I did a sample just to make sure that everything was spaced properly, and that came out very good. These pieces fit right together to make a corner, so I was happy with that. And so once I had my test piece, then I took a deep breath and went to my nice mahogany, and came out pretty good. So I'm going to work on the other one here, and I'll actually run some video while I'm cutting these so you can get an idea of what that process actually is like. So with my homemade finger joining jig attached to the miter gauge, I put a filler block up there, and then ran my first dado groove there, and then kept on moving down. And then just make sure all my pieces are oriented properly. Now this next one I just bump up to the filler block without the spacer, and then run it through, and that way you get that opposite joint to actually make the finger joint at the corner. Okay, so here's those first two pieces I cut. You can see that by using the spacer and the little filler block on the auxiliary fence that I've got a perfect match here. And these will fit together perfect to make the first side of the box. Okay, so I followed my way around all the edges of the boxes, or pieces for the box, and we'll end up with finger joints that'll come together nice and tight and provide a nice look for these mahogany boxes. Okay, these boxes are all done. I've got the polyurethane on. Those finger joints came out good. Lid and hinges and everything. You can see that nice contrast between the cherry and the mahogany. And then there's all the compartments on the inside. So all in all, pretty happy with these boxes. Fun project, and a very special project as well.